Anatomy of a Fall. It's the new brilliant film by Justine Triet, and it won the Palme d'Or at Cannes, and I am here to talk about it. A really brief synopsis is that Sandra Hüller is the lead actress in the film. She's a German actress, and her husband falls out of a window, and it's an investigation of who did it. Did he do it himself? Did she murder her husband? And it's really, really well executed. You're mostly in Sandra's perspective the entire film, and so you don't really know if she did it or she didn't, and you don't really know until the very end of the film. And I thought that was great because the film definitely tries to sway you both ways constantly. The courtroom scenes were really well directed. I thought they were really well paced. It was from a very unique perspective of where she put the camera. You feel like it's really organic and that you're actually just in the room the whole time. I haven't really seen a courtroom scene or courtroom environment directed that way, and it was a really fresh perspective. There's a scene where they play a recording of a fight between Sandra and her husband from a few days earlier, and I thought that was just brilliantly executed because you hear the recordings and then we actually see the argument as it was happening, and the scene is just, it's on fire. I mean, the two actors are just absolutely incredible, and it goes to show you, like, there was so much love there, and when people are arguing, relationships are complicated, and I think when Sandra Hüller is trying to explain this, she's saying, it's an argument. People fabricate things, people lie, people exaggerate, and you can't really take a recording of an argument between a husband and wife seriously to that certain extent, because that happens when you're both in these like heated moments of anger. So I absolutely loved the way that was done. One of the things I was really surprised by was a lot of the film is actually in English, and it was really fascinating to see what a relationship would be like. She's from Germany, the husband's from France. They were living in London for a really long time, and then they chose to raise their son speaking French. And those are decisions that people that live in Europe, I'm sure, make all the time. As an American, like, we don't really have to deal with it that much. Majority here, it's just like, oh, learn Spanish, and that's pretty much it. But because those countries are so close to each other and they all do speak different languages, I thought that was really well presented. And the reasoning behind them speaking English the majority of the film, I want to say majority, it's probably like 50-50, was really well explained in a conversation that within that arguing, actually, that Sandra Hüller says to her husband. And it's kind of like, English is the language that brings people together because no matter where you're from, a lot of people have learned it at some point. That was a very interesting thing to see presented in a foreign film. At the end of the day, this film really just has fantastic actors with an incredible script. The dialogue is absolutely brilliant, and the execution of the screenplay visually is just perfection. I'd be incredibly surprised if Sandra Hüller did not get a Best Actress nomination. I know that that's not the most common thing, but it has happened before, and I think she is definitely a front runner to get the nomination for Best Actress, as well as I'm sure it's going to get a Best Original Screenplay nomination, and then of course it'll be France's Oscar submission for Best International Film. There's a lot of good ones this year, so it could be in the Best Picture race for sure. I'm gonna whip this out because we always have to bring this little guy out when we're talking about Oscars. So yeah, I think if it doesn't get into Best Picture, it'll be because of The Zone of Interest, which surprisingly enough also has Sandra Hüller in it. So, and I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it correctly, if it's Hüller or Huller. But either way, she's brilliant. I have to also mention that in the film, she has a son who is blind. He wound up having an accident at like an early age, and that child actor is just fantastic. The children this year in these movies are just giving incredible performances. So I have to point that one out as well. I really wanted to get this review out for you guys because this film is getting a wide release next week, I believe, and I think you guys should all check it out in the theater. I think you'll fully enjoy it. Just a really well made film, and I'm so happy we're in Oscar season. I'm like so sick of the superhero talk. I'm so excited we get to talk about real filmmaking. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope you're enjoying your spooky season. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you all next time.